I'm finally seeing stronger angles now. And I did warn myself and y'all of that, because when we went through week 1, the thing is because Cassie was up there, their star witness. And we walked away feeling like that's it as far as RICO, right? Week 2, a lot happened in week 2. A lot of people took the stand in week 2, but we still left saying RICO though, federal, state, or federal charges or state charges should we be here for? Like I don't get the RICO stuff yet. Here you go, week 3, and I said it's supposed to be an 8-week trial, right? Out of 8 weeks, if we're only a week in or 2 weeks in, show some patience. It's a lot of frustration that built up, and the prosecution still has to do that job. The burden of proof is on them, the plaintiff or the prosecution. You own the burden of proof when you bring claims or charges against somebody. That's how it works. So here we are, day 10. I want to start off with a video discussing the main witness that took the stand yesterday, one of Diddy's assistants, Capricorn. Okay. And I think this person had a very, very impactful day in court. There were some witnesses that have gotten up there so far that I feel like, I don't know if that really leans the needle to the defense or leans it to the prosecution. Some of that stuff is going to be used to compound bigger points, maybe. But Capricorn shit is very, very relevant. Okay, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. So I know we normally do the reads, and I can, but instead I'm gonna do 2 separate videos. I'm gonna read a recap for y'all, and then I'm gonna go through some clips that I saw on Instagram just to make sure that everybody feels that we caught up from a summary of where we're at now for the most part. But all right, let's check out Capricorn.
I have to start with the testimony of Capricorn Clark. So this former assistant to Sean Combs, we knew she was going to take the stand. She had been mentioned last week during Kid Cudi's testimony. I want to take this in pieces if I can. So, because I know we have a little bit of time with you. So just talk to me real quick about how she began her testimony and how she started working for Sean Combs. And then we'll move into more of the specific allegations regarding Kid Cudi.
Yeah, well, Jesse, from what Capricorn Clark said while on the stand today, she said that she and Diddy actually go back before she actually started working with him. She said she met him around 2002, and then from there, later on, that's when she started getting into his employment around 2004, between 2004 to 2006. So when she was first brought on, she was brought on as a personal assistant, and she said actually on the first day of the job, she was taken to Central Park. And you might think, oh, we're going to go to Central Park, it's going to be great, but that's not really how she described her first day on the job. She said she went there with Sean Combs, Diddy, and she also went there with Paul Alford. Now, who is Paul Alford? He's actually the security guard that we've known about for a number of testimony, right? But she's actually talking about Uncle Paulie. And so she said that she was brought to Central Park with them. And then she kind of gets into why they would go to Central Park. And it was essentially to threaten Capricorn Clark. Why? Because she actually used to work with Death Row. And who was the CEO of Death Row? That is Suge Knight, one of Diddy's many arch nemesis. And so she said that she described her previous relationship with Suge Knight as he is actually the father of her best friend's children. So she does not have a personal, like, intimate relationship with Suge Knight necessarily, but she just knows of him and knows him a little bit closer, mainly because of her best friend and that he is the father of her best friend's children. And so when she was taken to Central Park around this time, this being in 2004, she said that Diddy told her he'd kill her if she had anything to do with Suge Knight. Then there was an objection raised in court. The defense obviously objecting to that statement, but the government continued to ask her about this alleged threat. And she being Capricorn Clark, had explained that Diddy was relatively calm while delaying this kind of message to her. She said that during this kind of meetup at Central Park, or during this meeting, that Uncle Paulie said nothing. He was calm as well, too. He was a little stoic from her description of it. And she said, as far as the response to the threat goes, she says, well, we'll just have to see. But Capricorn said while she was on the stand that she should have just been more transparent about her relationship with Suge Knight.
Day one, you're hiring this woman into your whole circle and circumference. Day one, you take her to Central Park. Do y'all know Central Park? Central Park got a lot of history for a lot of shit going down in it, especially at nighttime. Central Park is a place where, you know, especially in the 80s and 90s, bad reputation. You know, you get caught up in there. A lot of drug dealing happening there. A lot of some big situations that hit the news went down in there. But you took this person to Central Park day one and threatened their life. The thing is just like, yo, Diddy, if you thought that this person had any ties to Suge Knight, why entertain bringing them on as an assistant in the first place? Like, you don't need all these assistants, right, air quotes, in the world, why do you need to possibly work with somebody that has ties and associations to your top op, Suge Knight? I don't get it. Diddy, and then she said that dude told them very, very calmly, like, I'll tell you right now, anything with you and shit, I'll kill you. Like, this nigga really, really is a gangster on the low. Diddy is all that dancing and smiling shit. That's for the cameras, B. This nigga is a wild boy.
Right. And that's when we start getting into the
Allegedly.
exhibit photos of just some of the security guards that we've seen a number of times through these exhibits. So we were shown a photo of D-Rock, who Capricorn Clark explained was a good friend of Biggie Smalls. D-Rock actually came on board after Capricorn Clark. Then we're showing an exhibit photo of Ruben, who's actually D-Rock's little brother. And she explained that that Ruben came after Capricorn Clark, and so did she said that Ruben came after Capricorn Clark, same as D-Rock. And then as far as Roger Bonds, we already saw an exhibit photo of him, but we saw that again today. And she explained that Roger Bonds started around the time that Capricorn Clark did. So this was around that 2004 timeframe. And then slowly we start to get into the guns. And Capricorn had said that she had observed Diddy with a gun while she was being kidnapped. And obviously we're going to divulge and take that piece by piece in just a little bit.
Kidnapping.
But the government asked her, that Diddy has discussed having a gun before, because there was this whole, press thing and interview that Diddy had done with 50 Cent. And we all know Diddy's relationship with 50 Cent is not the best. And so I guess Puff, or who she refers to as Puff, said,
Diddy couldn't wait for his name to come up in this shit. I mean, I said Diddy. I mean, 50. He couldn't wait for his name to come up in this shit. I saw a picture of 50 at a game recently with a free Diddy t-shirt on. I don't know if it's AI, but it looked real as shit. He's one of the biggest trolls in troll history. But for 50 to come up now, yeah, he's gonna run with that.
Said that Chris Whitey, who was Diddy's manager around that time, said that Diddy said, I don't like the back and forth, I like guns. And Puff, or Diddy, or Sean Combs, as we're calling him, was actually talking about 50 Cent during that exchange. So that was automatically the start of the testimony, right, already going off with a little bit of fireworks.
You hear that, 50? You could have got clapped by Diddy, whether you know it or not, nigga. You better leave that voice. I don't like the back and forth. I like guns. When you think about when Diddy was on like the Breakfast Club answering Diddy questions about 50 and shit. Yo, what's up with 50? You try to take a show? He's like, yeah, I just thought he needed some clothes. That's the little friendly, fun, sarcastic jabs that we got behind the scenes. He's telling niggas, yo, I want to do the gun thing with the nigga. I don't want to do no trolling with 50. Yo, Diddy, use a gangster, man. I'm telling people. Once again, allegedly.
After kind of going into how she came to work with Diddy.
Shit.
Yeah, look, when you're dealing with a racketeering case, we said before, we'll say it again, having the assistants, the bodyguard, the security, the people that were in that inner circle is imperative, because you're trying to understand the inner workings of this criminal enterprise or this organization. But also, Diddy is ultimately charged in a racketeering conspiracy case alone. There's no other defendant. So you wonder, who did he allegedly do all of these things with? Who did he engage in this pattern of criminal activity with? But the reason she is also important is because I believe she is being used to help prove some of the underlying crimes for racketeering. When you're talking about racketeering conspiracy, the prosecution needs to prove at least 2 underlying crimes. So there's sex trafficking, there's arson, there's kidnapping, there's bribery. But more specifically, what did she say regarding kidnapping? And what did she say, I believe, that may help support the forced labor allegation? Again, really, really important for racketeering. What did Capricorn Clark have to say today?
Yeah, she said a lot, Jesse. Sometimes I just have to go through my notes to see just where everything is that she had been talking about. But as far as just the kidnapping goes, and I just want to apologize, everyone. I know my voice is a little hoarse, so if it scratches off a little bit here and there, I apologize for that. But so as far as the kidnapping allegation goes, that stems from 2011. And what do we know that happens in 2011, specifically around December of that time frame? That is when we start to kind of get into the Kid Cudi and Cassie relationship. Obviously, a very huge talking point throughout a lot of this testimony, especially last week, kind of trickling into this week. And so around this 2011 time frame, Capricorn Clark is no longer Diddy's personal assistant. Now she's a global brand director. So she's around 28 years old around this time. But she said around this time frame, she was also working as Cassie's creative director and manager too. So kind of pulling those double roles. And she said as far as that role of being a creative director, it was kind of about maximizing the optics for Cassie. And so as far as just everything with the Kid Cudi incident, Capricorn Clark explained that Cassie was seeing Kid Cudi in December of 2011. We already know this, but Cassie had asked around this time frame whether or not Kid Cudi could come on a hike with Capricorn and Cassie. And Capricorn actually said that this was going to be a bad idea because Capricorn was concerned whether or not Diddy would find out about this. And so Capricorn was explaining that Diddy had bought her phone, and so he was.
How Cassie with Diddy, but the manager is being more safe as far as doing shit behind Diddy back. Cassie like, yo, I want to bring my little side thing getting Cuddy with us. The manager's like, no, we ain't. Oh shit. Yo, that nigga Diddy. Everybody around this nigga. I want to see more behind the scenes shit now with rappers with Diddy. I know a lot of old clips are coming up. He got everybody scared, B. Yeah, the work environment is crazy around Diddy, but everybody is scared of this nigga, son. Everybody. I just saw that clip yesterday. He was like walking through a party and Cassie was sitting down next to somebody. When Diddy gets to the room, he kind of looks like, this what we doing? And the nigga sitting up next to Cassie gets up like it was the shots to the beginning of the race, like boom, but he jumped and ran off there. Like, yo, I'm out. Yo, damn, he got y'all all shook as shit. This chat. Let me stop for a second. Hold on. Question in the chat. Question in the comments below if you're not live with us. Yes or no? Does Diddy have any bodies? Allegedly. Chat. I'm gonna bring y'all questions. I mean, y'all answers up on the screen. Does Diddy have any bodies? Yes or no? What do y'all think at this point? He got any hidden body that we don't know about? He take anybody out of here? Okay, I see a no. I see a yes. Oh my God. I see a yes. I see a yes. Oh shit. Chill out, homebody. Chill out. Oh, chill out, chat. Chill out. Oh yeah, y'all going with those? Maybe I shouldn't have asked this question. I just wanted the yes and the no's. Between rounds says yes. Justin says everybody that owned a stake in Uptown Records. Oh my God. Allegedly. All right, let's get back to it. Y'all think Diddy got bodies? Oh shit.
Worried, or she was worried about Diddy seeing these text messages come through from Cassie, kind of explaining that she wanted to bring Kid Cudi on this hike that they were doing together. And so Capricorn actually explained on the stand today that she was the one who brought Cassie in to buy that burner phone, so that way it wouldn't be traced back to Cassie. That way they could talk without Diddy finding out. So that was kind of a big revelation that we learned today, because Capricorn had explained that she got Cassie this burner phone, or she went with her to Best Buy to buy this burner phone because she was afraid that they would all get killed. There was an objection made by the defense, obviously, because everyone's just like, oh my God, this is now another time where Diddy allegedly threatened to kill either Capricorn Clark or Cassie or somebody in just that fashion. But the objection was sustained, so that part is struck from the record. But Capricorn said she all of a sudden was hearing a loud banging at her apartment. And so she said that she looked through the people of her apartment door and she saw that Diddy was upset. He was pacing. His body language looked like something was kind of in his hand. So Capricorn Clark opened the door and she said when she did, Diddy was still upset. She explained everything that he wore, from a button-down shirt, a sweater, that he had slacks that just happened to be ripped. And she said it exposed his underwear. But she said that Diddy had a gun in his hand whenever he was banging on her door. And so Diddy said to Capricorn Clark in a very angry way, why didn't you tell me who is Scott? And as we know Scott to be Scott Mescudi, aka Kid Cudi. And so Diddy told Capricorn, get dressed, we're going to kill this N-word. That's what she said. And I will say here, Jesse, that Capricorn Clark, when she was on the stand, I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as being casual, but as far as just profanity is concerned, she very much just kind of laid it all out there as far as what was said, what words were used. And so it did get a little profane during some aspects of her testimony. And so, yeah, Diddy had told her that they were going to go kill this person, and that person being Kid Cudi. And so during this testimony, I saw that Diddy was jotting down some notes during this. And so Capricorn said that she didn't want to go, but Diddy made her, and he put a gun in his waist, that same gun that he had in his hand, he put in his waist, and that Diddy still seemed mad, but this time mad at Capricorn. And Capricorn said that Diddy had never been to her house before, but once they were in the car, Diddy moved his gun from his waist to his lap now. But notably, Ruben, who we know as also Rue, but is also D-Rock's little brother, was the one who was driving the car. So it was the three of them, Capricorn, Diddy, and Ruben, aka Rue. And so Capricorn explained that she wasn't able to leave the Escalade, which I guess is the vehicle that they had driven down to. She said that everything was just happening. So
this is allegedly your man Diddy. It's definitely over his relationships or his controlling nature with Cassie, at least bare minimum, allegedly, as this story and this testimony is coming out. But it's not all this money, all this power, all these people around you. He's doing things in the midst of things. It's not even no planning, not even no thinking. You found out about the burner phone, allegedly, and you took the female assistant who ain't gonna be on nothing. You took one bodyguard with you and you hopped in the Escalade yourself. You had the joint on your lap and all that. Allegedly, as per Capricorn's testimony, Diddy is a rider. Diddy, y'all be out here with these drill songs and shit, all hype with these little youngins. Diddy be spinning. Real shit. Can I say real shit and still allegedly? Is that a contradiction? Right? Diddy is spinning on shit, B. It's burner phone. What? Yo, everybody getting an Escalade right now. We finna go see about dude. What? Yo, life is that cheap, huh, Diddy? Allegedly. Yo, he's a gangster on the low.
So fast, there was no conversation going on, but they went from Capricorn Clark's home all the way down to Kid Cudi's house, or I guess all the way up to Kid Cudi's house in the Hollywood Hills. And then we're showing an exhibit photo of the Google map that shows kind of the direction of driving or direction of travel from Capricorn Clark's house.
I gotta pause it. Chat said, but she went back to work the next day. That's a diabolical ass live chat, y'all. Oh shit. Just forget everything that happened the previous day of y'all went to go spin on Cudi, huh? Luckily, y'all couldn't find them, so nobody got shot at or shot that day. You show up to work the next day. What's on the to-do list now? Better not find another burner phone, else we back in the streets again. Yo, said she went back to work the next day. Is crazy.
To Kid Cudi's home, and then we see that same exhibit photo of Kid Cudi's front door. And so from there, Capricorn was kind of explaining she didn't know whether or not Kid Cudi was actually at his home, but Capricorn said that she had to stay in the car. Meanwhile,
Shit.
Ruben and Diddy went inside Kid Cudi's home. Capricorn explained that she had called Cassie and called Cassie's burner phone through all of this, and Capricorn had explained to Cassie, she said, Cassie, what the F? And she had told Cassie that she had brought, she was brought to Kid
Niggas called the burner phone. We caught. I don't know why this part is funny to me, son. Yeah, she got the bit. So I now I know why you got the female assistant with you, because she's the manager. She knows Cassie. She's the one that put Cassie on to the burner phone. So it's like, nah, you in this. You can all treat y'all. Come on, everybody's involved in this shit. Yeah, call her phone now, nigga. Call that secret phone number now, nigga. Tell her we outside Cudi's crib. Then they get into the crib. Yo. Was I lying when I said that Capricorn's testimony is it's got legs? No, I'm telling you, her shit. It was probably one of the worst testimonies as it relates to Diddy since Cassie's best friend. Yeah, I think Capricorn might even be more damaging than Dawn. Real shit. All jokes aside, real shit.
Cudi's home essentially to be there so that way they could kill him. And Capricorn actually changed the name from Cassie's burner phone over to, like, I guess her best friend's name, because she didn't want Diddy to find out that she called her to give her the heads up. But guess what happens next? Diddy comes out and she said that
it's some movie shit going on. She changed the name real quick so that in case he tries to call log in the midst, so you over here trying to do the heads up sneaky text or something like that, like it's from a different person. You know, kill all y'all, even giving somebody the heads up. Allegedly, damn.
while she was on the phone with Cassie,
Capricorn up there fucking painting a movie for the jurors. Yo,
she could hear Kid
this person got a TMZ case.
Cudi on the phone telling Cassie that this man's in my house.
Shit.
Those weren't the exact words that were said, but you get what I'm going with that. But and Cassie was trying to stop him because he could have been killed in this incident, according to Capricorn Clark. Diddy comes out. Diddy explains, who the F are you talking to? Diddy called that same number back, found out that that's Cassie's burner phone, then got livid knowing Cassie even had this extra phone. And so Capricorn said that Kid Cudi later pulled up to his home. He sped off later, though, and then D-Rock, Capricorn, and Rue all followed him in the same car, chased him until they essentially lost him. But then the police responded, and that's when Kid Cudi, I guess, returns back to his home. And it's interesting because I don't recall under direct or even cross-examination that Kid Cudi explaining that he actually drove to the home before the police arrived. But according to Capricorn Clark, that's what she kind of said happened. But she surprisingly said that Diddy was relatively calm when he saw the police sirens going over to Kid Cudi's home, but that afterwards, Capricorn, Diddy, and Ruben all went to the Key Club, and Diddy told Capricorn to essentially call Cassie and tell her to come over here. And Cassie said, okay, well, come get me. So Diddy told Cassie to tell Kid Cudi not to tell the police that Diddy was the one allegedly behind it and not to make a police report about the incident. Capricorn told Kid Cudi as well too not to file this police report, and that Kid Cudi was essentially mind blown. There was another objection. That objection was sustained, so maybe the mind blown won't be in the transcript. But after this event happened, and after this, because this was just them going into the home, that Capricorn and Cassie went over to Diddy's house, and Diddy began physically assaulting and being physically violent with Cassie. Capricorn explained that he kept kicking her and he never used his hands.
What the fuck is going on with this whole movie that Capricorn is up there painting, B? Ice Cube's Today was a good, you ain't got nothing on this shit. Niggas wake up. Y'all got the phones getting caught. We go get in an Escalade 3 deep and slide. We get over to Kid Cudi's house. Yo, call her, come outside. Then we go pick her up. She's getting beat. We on the road chasing Cudi. Cops get involved, show up at Cudi's house and all that. Then, yo, tell nigga, don't tell the cops nothing about it. Yeah, we was behind you. Yeah, we was active. Yeah, we about to get you up out of this world. Tell them cops shit. What? Yo, allegedly, but I'm telling y'all, Capricorn shit is wicked.
Cassie was crouched into this fetal position.
Elizabeth, let me jump in because it's so loud right now. I know.
Yeah, they outside, they active. All right. I wanted to play that video once again because that biggest piece of her testimony of involvement over this burner phone and Cassie and Kid Cudi and showing up at cribs and going into cribs and chasing people in the streets and cops coming and Cassie allegedly getting beat on once again. And it's a lot, you know, because you also got, all jokes aside, your work assistant with you. Okay. So you see the angle of even using her. Now the chat said, but she went to work the next day. But this is a big thing with Capricorn's testimony yesterday. Now, let me pull this up for y'all. I got another video that I want to go to now as we move a little bit more into the RICO that I spoke about in the intro. But let me just get into a quick recap, right, of day 10. Let me pull this up bigger so y'all can see it with me. All right. Yeah, so we've heard from the witness today, Capricorn Clark, a former employee of Diddy who worked for him in different roles and off and on over the years. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at her testimony and some of these bullet points. Clark alleged the hip-hop mogul kidnapped her. Kidnap. Why am I stopping on that word? Kidnap is one of those that falls under this RICO situation, okay? Pay attention, people. Capricorn is a big piece of what has hit that fucking courtroom over this first 10 days of this trial, okay? I'm telling y'all, they're getting more from the RICO than they ever have up until this point, or more towards RICO. All right, Clark alleged that the hip-hop mogul kidnapped her at gunpoint in order for her to join him as he confronts Scott Muscudi, a.k.a. Kid Cudi, about the younger rapper's brief relationship with Cassie. She says Combs told her, get dressed, we're going to go kill Muscudi. Her testimony about the incident in 2011 came after Kid Cudi gave similar evidence last week. So now that's corroborated. Kid Cudi's testimony, along with Capricorn's here, their stories are aligning and they're being corroborated together. Okay. Clark said, and once again, remember I told y'all, even the alignment of the witnesses, of the order of who goes when, it's all tactical. It's all tactical. The tie-ins and all of that. All right. Clark said Combs told people with him they had to convince Cudi it wasn't me and threatened to kill all of you if they didn't. She said Combs also threatened to kill her in 2004 when she first started working for him after learning she had previously worked for a rap rival, Marion Suge Knight. Okay. Just weeks into the job, she said she was forced to take a lie detector test repeatedly for 5 days after diamond jewelry loaned to Combs went missing. He's got a lie detector machine in the. Remember, didn't we hear that already in the courts that not only were lie detector tests used, but also he would hire like federal agents to administer the tests? He ain't playing. You talk about a work environment, man. Who wants to work for Diddy? Just weeks into the job, she says, all right, we just saw that one. The man who carried out the test told her if she failed, they're going to throw you into the East River in New York, Clark said. Chat, once again, does Diddy have any bodies? I'm just asking. What do y'all think? She also gave details about the preparation she allegedly had to carry out for freak offs, saying drugs, baby oil, and IV drips were required. So she was a part of allegedly setting up freak offs even before Cassie. I believe it came out yesterday that she knew Diddy before Cassie. All right. So she knows all about what allegedly Cassie would testify. And here you go again with the ordering and the corroboration. So you hear Cassie get up there and talk about, well, I did this, I text this person, I called this person, I got on this website. Yeah, there was ecstasy, there was this, there was that, there was baby oil. And then here comes this other assistant that allegedly worked with Diddy even before Cassie and Diddy got together. And she's like, oh, yeah, the freak oils, yeah, I know about that. I used to set those up, and it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. All right. Your problem is you want a life, and you can't have that here, she said. Diddy told her on occasion, or one occasion. Clark broke down in tears a few times as she gave evidence. Okay. So I want to go through that recap of her testimony, some of those powerful moments. And if you haven't caught on by now, some of the theme towards day 7 Diddy Trial update is now not just the corroboration of prior testimonies, right? But once again, moving more and more towards what a lot of people have been frustrated about. Where does RICO come in, though? Okay, let's listen to this video and let's discuss a little bit more about RICO.
Watching Long Crime to keep me updated on the Diddy trial. Thank you all for the information. You're welcome. I've heard people on your show and others say that the prosecution's witnesses are providing testimony to show that Cassie was forced and coerced to comply with Diddy's sex fantasy demands in order to support sex trafficking charges. There are men who sexually, physically, financially, and emotionally abuse women using force, fraud, or coercion all the time. It seems that in order for Diddy's crimes to qualify for commercial sex trafficking, someone would have needed to purchase a victim, i.e. Cassie, from Diddy for the purpose of sex acts. It seems that is why Diddy's crimes wouldn't qualify for sex trafficking, because it's not commercial that we've heard of yet. Why isn't anyone talking about that? Am I missing something? And then there's also a tagline. Also, still don't understand what RICO is. So, Saf, I'll give the floor to you. Is it about purchasing Cassie for sex trafficking? And also, if you want to give a real quick 4-sentence definition about what RICO is.
So really quickly, RICO is a racketeering, influence, and corrupt organization, which essentially means that you have a criminal enterprise that engages in a pattern of behavior that would further that criminal enterprise. There's a few predicate offenses. Some of them include bribery, kidnapping, arson, other things like that. And essentially those would go to prove to further the enterprise, so to speak. So that is basically what a RICO is, first and foremost. Now, with respect to the sex trafficking charges here in the indictment, it's not that Cassie was the one that was
Hold on one second. So the sex trafficking is what we're going to get into a little bit more. You see how we paused earlier and I highlighted the word kidnapping. Okay, so you have this assistant testify yesterday, Capricorn, that she was kidnapped. Pay attention, people.
Purchase for sexual activity, but that they purchased sex workers, so to speak, in order to engage in sexual acts with Cassie, which is why the government had a number of male sex workers that testified with respect to, who they worked for, when they became engaged with Mr. Combs and Cassie Ventura, when they traveled or if they traveled from state to state, because there is a transportation and commerce component to that as well. So it's that Mr. Combs essentially purchased these sex or commercial sex workers, transported them via state lines or across state lines for the purposes of engaging in commercial sexual activity with Ms. Ventura.
Saf, I just want to follow up about one point on this. We actually have a sidebar coming out later tonight about whether or not the prosecution at this point has proved sex trafficking. So I encourage everybody to check it out. But the reason I bring it up is one of the questions I posed there. I'm going to throw to you. Is it also commercial sex, whether or not, putting aside what was paid to these sex workers, if something of value was provided or promised to Cassandra Ventura, does that make it commercial sex? Is it only about the sex workers, or is it something of value, or whether it was gifts or trips or financial dependency or career promises? Is that commercial sex for sex trafficking?
To an extent, but more so you see it often with respect to the exchange of currency. Could gifts and things of that nature make a showing of commercial sex acts? Possibly. But again, with respect to these charges, I don't think that the government is proving exactly that Ms. Ventura was the person that was the basis for the commercial sex act, right, but that these sex workers that were purchased through this company were the individuals that were commercially or they were the commercial sex workers. So I think it's really with respect to those individuals, which I think interestingly enough begs the question of this particular company, which seems to be a legitimized company, employing these sex workers for individuals to purchase.
I'm going to throw it over to you now, Cameron. By the way, and correct me if I'm wrong, am I mispronouncing your name? Is it Cameron or
Yeah. So once again, bringing more clarity. The angles of, is Cassie being the one that is being trafficked, right? Doesn't appear that's the government's target, because I felt like at one point in week 2, like they're trying to prove that it's her, but then there's a lot of consent around Cassie. You know, she's setting it up, she's making the calls. The the guy that testified, Hayes, he's like, shit, when I got to the Trump Towers, Cassie that let me in. She's the one that directed me. So yeah, sit down over here. My husband's in the bag. He about to come out. Yada, 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 yada. So it's not her. They're using her, you know, to show, similar to the assistants, that you guys are working within the enterprise to set up the sex trafficking. So when you got an assistant that comes up there and says, yeah, I set up the freak off like this, but I did it out of coercion or force. I was threatened. I was kidnapped at some point. But yes, also part of my job was also to set up these freak offs. The other assistants, hey, my job was to clean it up. Hey, was you ever under pressure? Was your job ever threatened? Yeah, he said he would fire me a bunch of times. He told me that I can't sleep. I get 4 hours of sleep, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, my job was to clean the shit up. Okay, how about you, Cassie? What did you do? I was scared because he always fly off the hinge. He would get high. He would beat on me. He would kick me or whatever. And I had to text and go on some of these websites to rent some of these people, the sex workers. You see? So it's not Cassie that they're trying to paint as the person that was trafficked. It's that all these people are being used within the company to set this stuff up, including the Cassies of the world. All right. And think about it. That's why one of the assistants, before he got up there, he said, I need immunity. Right.
Cameron? I keep looking and I'm wondering if I'm saying it incorrectly.
Cameron. I'm a child of Iranian immigrants, so they spelled it quite an interesting way, but it's Cameron.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, there you go, Cameron. So we got a question from Mikey John. Do you think Usher is on the witness list? He's known Diddy for a long time, even lived with him. I'm sure he must know something. Let me just couple that. Dawn Richard last week, I believe it was last week, testified that she observed Diddy punch Cassie in front of high-profile celebrities like Usher, which I have said goes to the idea of the power dynamic. So a big factor for the jury to consider is, why didn't Cassie leave? Why didn't she step forward? Why didn't she fight back? Why didn't she report Combs? Well, if that allegation is true and the jury accepts it, that he could beat her up in front of these people and nobody steps in, nobody does anything, that shows the power of Combs. What is she expected to do? Do you think Usher's going to be called to the stand?
Yeah, he absolutely could be. That's a great point. His testimony is absolutely relevant to show the domestic abuse, to show the forced nature of the relationship and the freak offs. So as high profile as he is, and maybe without this testimony, his lawyers could potentially put up some sort of a fight to avoid having him testify, because it is obviously burdensome and difficult at times. But I think it is absolutely relevant in this case. So we could definitely see him on the stand.
Yeah, the same way Drake used his lawyers to not have to appear in court for that person that was trying to create an appeal of fight after allegedly, he was convicted in the shooting of XXXTentacion. Drake used his lawyers to avoid having to appear because they wanted to subpoena him, right? We want your testimony in here, Drake. Same thing I think should be the Ushers of the world to do. The Ushers of the world, he's doing great in his career. He's coming off of Super Bowl performances and whatnot. He's out here on tour handing cherries to everybody. Like, Usher doesn't need to end up on no damn stand in the Diddy trial, okay? He needs to chill the fuck out and do everything in his power legally to keep himself out of that court. Because he's just been around Diddy too much, right? And God knows what type of words or questions he would face. But once again, that power dynamic. Look what they're showing. Is saying, if I'm Cassie, if I could see myself getting punched in the stomach at this restaurant, outdoor public restaurant, in front of Usher and this celebrity and that celebrity, and nothing happens. There was more testimony that came out last week about when she allegedly got beat up on a private jet, right? And she was allegedly on her back, kicking up, screaming out, nobody sees this, and they continue to show this reaction of everybody turns a blind eye. People say, stay in your lane. The security guards tell the assistants, stay in your lane. The people around that's been around Diddy for a while, they say, don't get out of line. You'll find yourself in the East River. Mind your business. Everybody shut the fuck up. Nobody sees him getting hit. Everybody's turning away, turn the other cheek. So this comes into the coercion stuff. This comes into the forced label stuff. This comes into the my job being threatened, my life being threatened, all this stuff being threatened. So unless I comply with the type of job that I didn't sign up for this, but this is the type of workplace that was created, and now I'm being forced, right? And I asked last week, I said, damn, I want to know how much that assistant was making, because I felt that was relevant. When somebody says they come and they accept a job where you only get 4 hours of sleep on a good day, and sometimes they're reporting 2 hours on a bad day. A good day is 8 a.m. to 4 a.m., right, of work. So I asked myself, I said, now people sometimes they do trade-offs. People take the good with the bad. If I call somebody right now and say, hey, come over and podcast with me, they're going to hang up on me. If I call my same homie and say, come over right now, I got $50,000 for you, they're not going to ask any questions. Like, give me my 50. They're going to show up. All right. People have their boundaries and their things to say yes or no to. And I wanted to hear how much some of these assistants are getting paid. And one of them, was it Capricorn? Reports are coming out of somebody getting 65 grand for the year. That was a letdown. That was a fucking letdown. Number one, for you having this type of job and all this type of shit for 65 fucking $1,000 a year. You better be looking for all the side opportunity then. Or maybe you really are just there to be there, like, oh, it's Diddy and it's all this lavish life and I get to be around all of this. 65? 60 fucking 5? And Diddy, I'm lit down. It's just like, if you're doing this type of shit allegedly around these type of people, the pay becomes a form of a payoff. Okay? The pay, like, is people exercise money to get people to give them preferential treatment all the time. I hire Uber or Grubhub or DoorDash. I overpay in my tip. Keep your hands out of my shit. It's kind of like a little unsaid thing, you know? Some barbers out there know he tipped me real good, so he gonna get the extra raise and this. I'm extra detail. Motherfucker that come and he don't tip or nothing, just here. You go ahead and come back and see how that barber treats you. Hey man, how many you got? I got a bunch before you. I used to walk into my barber shop 50, 67, 80. I done gave some crazy tips sometimes. Hey man, how many you got? Shit, you next. I got you. Hey, you get preferential treatment, right? Now escalate that. You done been on a plane and seen, or on vacation and seen Cassie get her head beat in and you only get paid 65. Diddy's supposed to be taking care of that person. Diddy's supposed to be giving that person $100, $200, $300, $400,000 salary. 65? And then you wonder why these people is up here on the stand. You kidding me? All right. So this gentleman just brought up Dawn. Let me jump to that real quick. Yeah, this was sent to me yesterday. I was like, what is this? Peep this one. Hold on. Let me go on the smaller screen.
Talk to Diddy?
Not as often as I'd like, but that's the homie forever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know that Puff had bought me out of a contract prior to even getting on the show. Like, it wasn't I chose Puff over my group at the time. It was more of, when someone does that, where I come from, you got to respect that on a large level. So I gave loyalty to him. All his crazy, I look at things like that as loyalty. So I was loyal to him and I paid my dues back like a businesswoman should.
Right.
Until he said, okay, your dues are paid. And then I left.
Talk to Diddy?
Not as often as I'd like.
So videos like that is I guess for us, right? Shout out to the chat. Says I missed an hour already. Yeah, we started at 5 a.m. Yeah, we don't be playing some of these mornings. Salute, chat. Videos like that obviously ain't for court because she already testified, right? I didn't hear this come up in evidence or testimony, stuff like this. They did ask her, if you were that scared of Diddy, why did you go back and sign another contract or request another contract? Why did you want to re-up? So I think the jurors need to pay attention to stuff like that. That's why they're there. That's what they were hired for. We pay attention to stuff like that too. But also out here in the court of public opinion, we see clips like this come up and we say, what the fuck? What did you say, Dawn? Makes me continue to look at your little civil suit a certain way. I'm just saying. All right, let's catch a couple more Diddy highlights. Ex-assistant Capricorn Clark says on her first day. So we saw that already. We did see that. Yeah, we read that already. I got y'all on that one already. What's this one? Diddy's former assistant did not hold back on Cassie, called her not talented, and said she prioritized being his girl over her career. The prosecution tried to object real quick. Objection. Wow, that's not good for prosecution, right? Shout out to Inner City once again. Inner City Press doing this thing with all the tweets coming out. Capricorn Clark, talented to me is Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. Why she got to do that? Oh, she had a fallout with Cassie. She's mad at Cassie. Why she got to bring up other people as comparison? Wow. Talented to me is Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. Cassie, she was more of a studio musician. I mean, that's true. We know that, right? But she needed things equalized. Damn, why she get all right. Combs Defense says, did she perform live? Capricorn says, a couple times, not the greatest. Diddy's lawyer says, was she a hard worker? Capricorn says, at times. Yo, she's up there going crazy. Diddy's lawyer says, what did you see? Capricorn says, she went from being a sweet model to being a feisty girlfriend. Well, we did hear testimony that Cassie is out here threatening people's lives too. Like, give me that. We're gonna stay right here right now. You're gonna fuck around and come up missing. It's not gonna be me that does it. How did she get like that? Who does she feel empowered by? Right? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stories of Diddy riding for Cassie too. If he's this crazy over her, it's probably a lot of times where she probably was like, he's like, what happened? Nah, this nigga, I just walked past in the hallway. He looked at me a certain way. I ain't like it, babe. What? I'll be right back. I'm pretty sure they had them situations cut it out. Like we seeing a lot of how Diddy moves and how he acts. So Diddy's attorney. Do you think she was talented? Capricorn. She had talent and was very beautiful. Try to key in on only the looks. Diddy's lawyer, but not talented. Capricorn. She was not. I have good taste. Oh shit. Oh, Diddy's lawyer. Why did you not get along with Cassie sometimes? Yeah, I want to hear this. Okay. Capricorn. In 2008, she got more bravado being his girlfriend. The longer it lasted, she thought I was being paid to help her. Prosecution side. Objection. Judge. Sustained. Re-ask. Reword that. So I was your friend. I was your manager. We was cool. You got all this empowerment by Diddy and you started telling me what to do. Hey, do me a favor. Clean this up. What? Why'd you start talking to me like that? You know, that's what she's testifying. All right. Chat. And if you see the stream later, drop a comment below.